This is not Gandy. Gandy, what was your occupation when you were working?
Okay, I had a multitude of occupations. I was 2 weeks after I graduated from high school, I did an apprenticeship for a Navy Industrial Command, and I became a machinist in a maintenance department, which means I learned how to machine tools and also repair equipment. And from there, I became a mechanic, then I became a workload planner, then I became a shop supervisor, then I got into IT after that, and I ended up changing left the Navy and went to work for Marine Corps Command, stayed there for a number of years, and then I left there and went to work for the Coast Guard, and I retired as IT workload manager for the Coast Guard Information Department. And I did 38 years in Federal Civil Service before I retired.
What's the highest degree you have of education?
Officially, high school. I've got about 2 years of college, but I didn't get an associate's degree or anything like that. So as far as paper shows, I only graduated from high school.
And what does being a family mean to you?
A lot of things. uh, it's it's a closeness. It's help when you need it. It's help when you don't need it. It's helping them at all times when in more ways than just like financial help. Physical help, emotional help, support. Just nothing else. Just being a good set of ears and let somebody complain to you while you just listen to them and nod approvingly. But it's doing whatever I can for the people I love. And you say one thing you've got forever is family, so you try to make the best of it. And hopefully I have tried to make the best of it.
My Gandy sister is Constance Taylor, or Constance Lewis now. We call her Connie. She lives in Goochland, Virginia, on a driveway that is so long she gets to name it after herself. It's technically called a road, so it's Constance Drive. Gandy used to have land in Goochland, right near her house, so when we used to go to the land, we saw Aunt Connie a lot, but we haven't been going as recently, so we haven't seen her as much, but it's more because of the distance and less because of the closeness. This is my Nanny June. When I was younger, Nanny June was married to a man named Bob. Her and Bob were divorced when I was a little older. In college, I believe. I was already in college. And she moved in with my Nana and Gandy. So I was very fortunate to spend some time with her while she was older. As she got older, my Nana and Gandy were having a harder time being able to live with her. And so she moved into a nursing home, and we were able to visit there a couple of times. Nanny June recently passed away in November. But I'm really glad and feel very fortunate to be able to have a great-grandparent that was in my life, because I know not many people get that opportunity. Gandy's dad, everybody used to call Papa Joy. I was never fortunate enough to meet Papa Joy. He passed away before I became a member of the family, but everyone speaks very highly of him. What was it like growing up? You grew up around in Norfolk, right?
Yeah, I grew up in the Bayview part of Norfolk on a place called 1050 Lindale Lane was where we moved into. Prior to that, we moved around different places. Father was in the fire department. He worked for the Little Creek Naval Amphibious Base in the fire department. We were, middle income kind of family. So we moved around a little bit. My mother didn't work. And in the house in Lindale Lane was the first one they bought. And they kept that until after they got a divorce and everything else. But growing up was pretty good. Didn't know we were poor, so I didn't worry about it. But had lots of friends and had bicycles and toys and sports and things like that. So we did stuff and went places. And
can you tell me a little bit more about your parents?
Well, both of them were born in a place called Carter County, Tennessee, which is in the mountains in East Tennessee. My mother was 18 when they got married. My father was 20. My father, this was right in 1948 is when they got married. My father had been in the Navy in World War II. He had joined the Navy 2 weeks prior to his 16th birthday. So he was 15 when he joined the Navy. By the time he was 18, he'd already been in 8 major naval battles in World War II. My mother graduated from high school 2 years, like I said, after, well, she graduated a year before they got married. And, you know, my father had a job up here. His brothers lived up here, and they told me it was employment opportunities, because back there in the mountains, it was working in rayon factories, and that was it. So my father came up here, found a job, went back, they got married, and then they moved up here.
And you spent summers in Tennessee?
Right on my
What was that
grandparents'
like?
farm. I didn't know my father's parents because they both died. His mother died before I was born, and his father died when I was 2. So I never really knew them. So the only grandparents I knew was my mother's parents, and they had a farm, a small farm in eastern Tennessee, there in Carter County. So from about 5 or 6 years old on up to about 12, I guess, I used to spend every summer there in Tennessee, my grandparents' farm. And I learned, you know, what you should do and shouldn't do in that kind of environment. Learn how to deal with things outside, how to make things work when you didn't have all the proper tools or such. Improvising. Some people call it jury rigging also. My grandfather had a tractor. He also had a mule. So I learned how to work with a mule. You know, he plowed with a mule and did a few other things, mostly in the garden, not out in the big crops or anything like that. But I also found out a mule could be an ornery cuss, and it will kick you if you don't watch out.
Since our Nanny June recently passed away, we were able, as a family, to go to Tennessee, where everyone grew up, where Gandy spent his summers, where Nanny June and Papa Joy were from, and be able to meet that side of the family a lot. Although they're not necessarily included in my genograph, having the opportunity to meet them was wonderful. We have tons of cousins and aunts out there, and it's a really great opportunity. Something I love about Gandy's family, and my stepmom's family in general, is that I always feel very welcomed, and they don't have to welcome me. You know, I'm the stepdaughter. I'm not technically biologically theirs, but I've never felt anything but welcomed, and was able to hear all their stories and meet the cousins and be welcomed in as if I was their own. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the Taylor family?
It's big. Right now I'm doing ancestry stuff, and I found a little over 6,300 people so far, starting with me, and go right back to Carter County, and from there back to Virginia, and from Virginia end up in Ireland, England, Scotland, Germany, France. Those are the primary countries, but got a few heroes, generals. Got governors of Tennessee in there. Got 7 presidents I found in our family tree so far. The easiest one to figure out is Zachary Taylor. He's a direct descendant of mine. Also found one martyr, Roland Taylor. He was a reverend back when Mary Queen of Scots took over England. She didn't like his religion, and she told him to do it a different way. He refused, so she burned him at the stake. He's the only martyr we got there. Charlemagne's another fellow that is in our family tree, the Holy Roman Emperor. I guess you've heard of him. He's way back as one of my great-great-grandfathers. But there's a lot of diversity. There's everything from famous people and president right down to hard-scrabble dirt farmers. So we've got a wide range of family members to look at and learn from.
Oh, thank you very much.